Hello friends, well, one more day here at Tarifa Funworks. Well, today I bring you masts, to see if I can help you resolve the typical doubts. Okay, about the masts. Well, we started. We have RDM and SDM masts. RDM, as we can see, fine masts. RDM would be the translation reduces diameter mast, SDM thicker masts, okay? You can see the difference, SDM standard diameter mast. As a general rule we use RDM with sails from 7 meters to smaller and SDM with sails from 7 meters to larger. There are some brands, admittedly very few, that are using the largest sizes of RDM mast sails, but it is not common. Curves topic. I know it's a bit confusing. I'm going to try to help you, okay? Well, we have hard top, in this case hard top. The most pronounced part of the curve in this type of mast is both in the center and in the lower part of the mast, and the upper part, so to speak, is the one that flexes the least. Constant curve. The other type of curve is a mast that has, so to speak, a very constant curve. The entire length of the mast we have a curve and top flex. In this case we have the most pronounced part of the curve at the top. Most sails and brands use constant curve and flex top.
¿De acuerdo?
It is true that there are others who are using hard top. That is why when choosing the mast to mount for our sail we always have to be very clear about what type of curve our sail uses.
En el caso de
In the case of the gun masts, they have worked to have a mast curve that is as versatile as possible to cover many types of sails, with which we could say that they have made a hybrid between constant curve and flex top, which we could call constant flex, so you know that our gun masts have a very wide range of use. Be careful with mounting, for example, a constant curve or flex top sail on a hard top sail. Why? Because the design of the sail is designed in one way, and if the mast is designed with another type of curve, keep in mind that we will subject the masts to pressures for which they are not allowed. Maybe a mast in the lower part with a hard top, and if it is a constant cut we will subject it to curves that are not optimal and we run the risk that this mast could break, so pay attention to these points. If you have specific questions, you already know that you can contact us and we will help you. Carbon percentages? Well, we find more, less. Most of the time we find masts made of 30% carbon, 50, 70, 100. When do we use lower carbon masts? We always recommend them for people with less carbon, 30, 50. For people who are just starting out or who do not subject their masts to very demanding and aggressive navigation. Masts are usually cheaper, they have a little more weight, but they are not as resistant masts. Therefore, if we are going to subject them to very strong waves or winds, radical maneuvers are not the most recommended. And we also say to beginners, do you want a low carbon neck? Great, but also be careful with the short break, the waves that form on the shore, because these masts with little carbon will surely not withstand a tumble of the sail in a wave as well as masts with 70 or 100% carbon. You should also take that into account. And another point to keep in mind, when we have sails of very large sizes we do not recommend masts with so little carbon, in this case 30 or 50 for larger or larger size sails. It is always much more convenient to use more carbon because the sail will work much better, it will ride much better, and in short, A large sail will always ask for greater performance, okay? So there we have masts made of 70 to 100% carbon. Yes, it is true that they are more expensive, but oh well. And masts are 70% carbon, 100% carbon, because for people who already have a very good level, subject the material to strong pressures, sail with waves, strong wind conditions, they're in that aspect because we will not have any problem. They are masts designed for strong and demanding sailing. Okay, now I would like to give you an example because we had said that RDM is sails for sails smaller than 7 meters and SDM for sails larger than 7 meters. But the example helps me when setting up a sail of 7 meters so we understand how we can use our masts, okay? It is true that we have the 7-meter sail, we are in a transition. I give you the example of my 7-meter sail. I assembled it with an RDM mast, that is, RDM mast when assembling it. In the case of the 7-meter sail, we can apply it to other measurements, the sail with a 7-meter mast. 7 meters RDM is going to become a sail that is a little more flexible, more comfortable and will release the wind a little better. I'll be able to use it with more wind. When tensioning it will be more ductile, even in choppy conditions it will be more comfortable to navigate. If I mount an SDM mast with this 7-meter sail, what we are going to find is that we are going to have a slightly harder sail. It will work better with little wind, but it won't blow as much wind, and in the choppy we will feel it harder. Harder is the word, so for people who weigh little we always recommend RDM. If it is true that for people who have much more weight and are capable of withstanding the onslaught of a harder mast, since they will carry it easier and more comfortable, with SDM masts are in this case a little more rigid. Okay, it is also important that you keep in mind, there are people who think that because a mast is 100% carbon it is better than 70% carbon, and this is sometimes the case when setting up sails depending on the wind conditions. Or of the day we choose one or the other. For example, a mast of, in the case of me, level at 664, yes. In the last time I had the option of riding 100% carbon or 70% carbon on the day that it is strong. I can choose in both options. The last time I sailed with 6-4 and was really strong, I wanted to take a more comfortable mast, so I chose 70% carbon. It becomes a little more ductile, more comfortable, less reactive would be the word. Which does not always translate into better or worse. We have the option to choose when conditions are very heavy. It's okay to even use 70% carbon, 100% carbon. Sometimes we feel very reactive, too reactive, okay? With this, well, I know that this topic is broad. I know that it is complicated. I think I have already given you some guidelines to take into account, and well, as I always tell you, you have all our products in our online store tarifafoundworks.com, and you have all the contact channels to contact me. I hope I have helped you. Soon I will tell you more things, so thank you, nothing, and until next time.